Welcome back to the channel, everybody, and we got a cool one for you today. So, the Army reached out to me, yes, the U.S. Army, and asked if I'd be willing to watch and react to the new docu-series that they made on Army Ranger School. So, that's what we're going to do in this video. I don't usually do blind reaction videos, but I figure why not? Let's watch this thing together, react to it live, and give our honest feedback on what we think, right? And I want you guys to do the same in the comments section, because I'm sure they're going to be looking at this, seeing what we think, right? So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Definitely helps the channel, helps the videos. And yeah, this should be interesting. Let's jump into this thing and see what they cooked up. All right, now I'll say up front, a lot of controversy with Ranger School over the last few years, supposedly with having standards pretty much gutted and removed so that women could make it through. So it'll be interesting to see if that's addressed at all in this docu-series. All right, I don't know, I haven't watched it, but let's take a look. All right, so here we go. So you want to be a U.S. Army Ranger, the Creed, Ranger School, Army Lethality from the official U.S. Army YouTube page, all right? Don't mind the little squirrels and cats and birds over here. Munchkin likes to watch YouTube, all right? Let's just give this thing a watch, and I'll try not to interject too much. I'll just give my thoughts kind of here and there as we get through this, all right? Let's do it. Okay, one of my favorite quotes. Good start.
The dangers facing the United States are myriad and complex. As these ever-mounting threats evolve, the need for warfighters capable of rising to the challenge is critical. Enter the U.S. Army Rangers. The Army Rangers are some of the most lethal soldiers in the world, capable of closing with and destroying the enemy on land, sea, or air. They are the bleeding tip of the spear. To become a Ranger, these men and women must brave the most brutal training the Army has to offer. It all starts at the legendary Ranger School.
All right, gotta stop real quick. All of the Rangers and battalion are about to be furious that the Army has come out and said the Ranger tab is what makes you a Ranger. So good luck with that one, bad boys. All right, let's jump back into it.
The crucible where these elite warriors are forged. Ranger School has been described as the longest approved gut check in the Army. Over 62 days, students will patrol hundreds of miles over mountains and through swamps under the crushing weight of their equipment. All the while, they are deprived of both food and sleep, forced to perform at the very edge of their physical limits. But it's not just the physical challenges that make Ranger School so intense. The mental strain will break these soldiers down to their core. Ranger School is not for the faint of heart, but for those who are up to the challenge, it is the ultimate proving ground. Witness this grueling test of strength, endurance, and determination through the eyes of those who lived it.
All right, good intro so far.
When I was younger, I used to always look at my dad's photos, and I saw him in the military, and I look up to my dad, so I definitely thought it would have been a good idea for me to follow his footsteps.
It was really beneficial for me and my family. At the time, my mom was working 2 jobs, and she was supporting me and my 3 other little siblings. And well, I can get papers for her, and not only that, but help out with the bills.
I used to be a Scouts commander back in Kenya, so everybody knew, like, hey, he looks like you're gonna be in the military one day. So I tried my luck in the Kenyan Army. Then I came to the States, met some recruiter. They told me, hey, you know, you can join the American Army. I'm like, oh, sweet. This is what I wanted to be my whole life. So I came to the Army, and here I am working on pursuing what I need to do to accomplish my dreams.
Got 4 children and a dog, Holly. So, yeah, great family. They're very supportive of what I do in both my civilian career and military. My wife's awesome, willing to take care of the 4 kids while I'm gone. So she's a real trooper here. I'm just whatever.
I'm married currently, and I have a 4-year-old girl. She was very supportive, actually. She was a military brat herself. grew up in it. Her father, her late father, was in the 25th ID. He went to Ranger School himself. He actually has a picture. He is holding her when she was about 4 years old in his BDUs after being pinned with his Ranger tab. So that's the plan. That's the plan.
My husband and I we're dual military. So he is Ranger qualified as well. He was definitely the biggest cheerleader for me the entire time, and he graded my push-ups probably every single day. I would say, are these good? Are these the right way to do it? And he really pushed me. And I had to tell him, I was like, I need you to be very strict and hard on me whenever we're training for this, because I want to succeed, and I just know that he wants me to succeed.
I think at this point, it's all the people I'd be letting down if I got dropped or, anything happens. So that initial feeling was that, like, what am I going to tell my parents? Because they've supported me for so long. It's kind of one of those things that now I have, people in RTOI that believe in me, believe that I'm going to make it through. My friends. So it's kind of that factor of, I can't let these people down because they have these expectations of me that I need to validate and prove.
It's like an intro. I'll probably skip ahead of this. All right, here we go. Part 1. RTAC. So this is actually a train up for
Ranger School is
We
the
haven't got
best
to Ranger
life
School
insurance policy for our Army. And it goes back to enhancing the human capability, because it will always end with two people facing off with each other, and we need young leaders that are Ranger qualified and go through the things that.
All right, real quick. I can tell by the push-ups and sit-ups, this is definitely old. This wasn't done like recently with most recent class because they have a new PT test. So this is a traditional, probably RFPT, Ranger PT test. So this might have been filmed a while ago, but we'll see.
That this course puts them through to be able to close with and destroy the enemy and defend our nation's interests forward.
So right now we're in the RPFT. We're assessing to make sure these Rangers are physically fit enough to go through the physical demands of Ranger School.
It's exciting, that feeling of stepping off that bus, knowing I need to take the first steps at RTAC. I'm gung-ho, I'm 100% in, I'm ready for it. Give your 100%, give your all.
The Ranger Training Assessment course is a 14-day program of instruction in 2 phases. The first phase focusing on the Ranger Assessment Physical Fitness Standards for Ranger School.
We're conducting the Combat Water Survival Assessment, also known as the CWSA. The reason why we're doing this is we're looking for confidence, ensuring that they're not going to panic, because we do conduct waterborne operations, and that they're able to perform such operations in the future.
RTAC is like a baby step to Ranger School. So it like give you a version of what you should expect at the beginning of Ranger School. So it's kind of like an awakening call.
All right, land nav. This is the thing that gets a lot of people.
So what's
on
happening right
courses
now
like this.
is the students are conducting land navigation. They need to achieve 4 out of 5 points today in order to continue on in our pre-ranger course.
The thing with this course, there's this big old creek called the V of Death. And well, I had to travel across the creek, which you're not supposed to. They tell you, don't go through the V of Death. People sink, people get stuck. But I was actually trying to, get this over with. Trying to get my 4 points out of 5. Once I got to the creek, seeing how deep it was and how, it's like I was jumping from tree to tree. And then after a while, that kind of didn't work because there was a big old lake. There was nothing but water. Like there was no trees, no stumps that you could step on, nothing like that. And I was like, okay, get wet and get a little cold, or pull out my radio and just tell Soren to come pick me up. So it's one or the other, and I'm not a quitter. So I went for it. I dove into the swamp, started swimming. I was like arm deep into the creek, and I was just swimming. It smelled like booty, I'm not gonna lie. I actually ran into a boar midway through the creek, and all I hear is, and I was like, oh, what is that, right? And then I just see this big old freaking boar just running around in circles all around me, and I'm just standing there still for 30 minutes. I'm like, yo, I gotta make time, otherwise, they're gonna drop me for not making time. And I was scared. I'm not gonna lie, I've never seen big animals like that other than the zoo, because I'm a city boy. I'm from Dallas. So I grabbed the rock and I threw it towards the trees, and I seen the boy take off that way. So once he took off that way, I took off this way. And then once I made it out the creek, it was already I had 30 minutes left to get back. I just started running, and then it was 3 kilometers worth of running. And once I got 1.5 kilometers in, I was just yo, no cap. The whole time in the creek, man.
No cap. Smelling like booty. Probably would have omitted this interview, guys. But I guess if you're trying to appeal to Gen Z, then yeah.
I don't know, I had a whole panic attack. I was, damn near finna cry and everything, I was really scared that I wasn't gonna make time, but I ended up finishing with 10 minutes left of those 5 hours that they gave us, and I passed, and now I'm still here.
The second phase is the collective training tasks associated with patrolling, ambush, and recon missions while at Ranger School.
Ranger training tasks are important to prepare them for all the tasks.
What is that? What is this? Why are they wearing masks? What? Guys, what are we doing? What, really? I hope this is super old. Wearing masks like this. I would not have kept this in. This is the majority of people who are going to watch this, who you're trying to interact with, are going to see this and roll their eyes and not be happy about it. So this one should have been edited out. That's a fail.
Ranger students will perform with respect to the 2 machine guns, the Claymore, the 2 radios. That Ranger will be able to perform those tasks proficiently and be able to support that squad during recon or ambush missions that they will be conducting during the Darby phase, the patrolling phase of Ranger School.
We've tried to replicate everything that the soldier's going to see through the Ranger assessment phase and Darby. They can make it to the mountain phase of Ranger School. They have at or about an 80% chance of being successful and graduating.
80%? That's pretty
So what's the first thing Rangers we're going to do whenever we get behind a gun? Safe direction, we're going to clear. So safe direction, palm up. You're going to move your hand to the charging handle, move the charging handle to the rear. You're then going to place a weapon on safe, pushing the charging handle to the forward position, palm up. You're then going to move into your 5-point check.
We're one of the only pre-Rangers in the force that literally every one of our Ranger instructors become Ranger instructor certified through the RTB process.
He's going to read task initiation standards. Your task is telling you what exactly you need to do. What does it say? And place the Claymore, and then what? And fire it.
Claymore, Claymore, Claymore. Good.
Ranger School is not a tactical school. Ranger School is about leadership, right? It's easy to lead soldiers when they're well-fed, rested. You're tested at Ranger School to lead soldiers when they're tired, hungry, dirty, and they're unmotivated. So we do that here. We give them the tools and the confidence to be successful.
For the 9 Mile Ruck, I think a lot of people are trying to minimize injuries. We just did a lot of physical activity in the last couple days. A lot of people are hurting their knees, they got blisters.
That's one of my favorite things to do. Just put the ruck on. Are the RIs going to be yelling again? Yes. You're not going to hear them. That's all good.
I prepared for it a lot back in Quebec, and it was a lot colder there with snow. So it's more mental than anything when I think it comes to rucking.
Try to focus on that a lot, just not suffering unnecessarily, but just understanding that I have to accept that it's gonna suck.
Originally, it was called a pre-Ranger course, and it was developed by at the time, Sergeant First Class Sider and Lieutenant Jameson Kirby.
Literally out of the back of a pickup truck with a minimal amount of OCIE rubber ducks. And then it eventually located itself here at Camp Butler Warrior Training Center, where we've really been able to drive more Guard soldiers through RTAC and the Ranger pipeline.
At the time, the National Guard had a single-digit graduation rate of Ranger School. Oof. And last year, our first phase of Ranger School completion rate hovered around 80%. And of those that made it through that, they had a 90% chance of making it through Ranger School.
That seems really high.
The 20 boards are the classes we give the Ranger students when they get here as part of the first week, and it's an explanation of exactly in-depth detail of how they're going to execute all of our battle drills. So reactive contact, squad attack, taking indirect fire, break contact, executing a link up, CASEVAC. So it's getting into extreme detail of exactly what each ranger's responsibility and role is within that battle drill, so that way they understand their role.
People come in nervous about the unknown, not understanding, questioning themselves and their abilities. And by the time that they finish RTAC, they have a greater understanding of themselves, and a more confident soldier emerges while operating with other members of the team. And those same individuals that are moving forward, that have met the standards and completed all the requirements, will be over at Ranger School with them. So they may find themselves in the same squad and or platoons with some of their classmates, which gives a atmosphere of familiarity and really helps tend to encourage them to say, hey, he or she is still here, I am too, let's do this and see it all the way through.
Operations orders are important because they emphasize all of the nitty-gritty details. Anything that could come up during an operation, your terrain, your weather, enemy situation, as far as like, how is the enemy arrayed? What's their most probable course of action? What's their most dangerous course of action? What are the friendly units doing? Where are they? Any detail regarding this operation is lined out in this order.
Do y'all know why they use wool blankets for medics? Because even when it gets wet from all the blood and stuff, it still stays warm.
Yeah, so like check it out. It'll be like it. Hey, I'll give you a list of tasks that I need to complete no later than 06.
I'm feeling pretty confident. You know, we've had some great instruction so far, some great classes, some pretty well smoothed out PEs, and now it's time to actually implement what we've learned and see how we act as a squad. This is our first lane going through as with these new squads.
Most likely they're going to do horribly.
We'll see how it goes.
If I had to guess, this is usually the way
We're
it
gonna
goes.
make a lot of mistakes, but we're here to learn, so that's what it's all about.
We rehearsed, so hopefully that helped a little bit.
It's probably gonna be a shit show.
It will 100% be a shit show.
Should be so much fun.
A lot of fun. Going right through pretty close to a swamp. All these new tie downs, so good time.
Yeah,
Perfect
it's not
weather.
going to be a good time for very much longer.
Here,
We'll
it
see.
truly is a leadership course from the absolute start to the end. So you're doing that whole planning process with your team. So you have to rely on your other guys that they're actually going to give you a good product back.
All right, here we go. Patrols.
Logistics, maintenance, transportation, talking about load plan, bump plan. Your bags are packed, your flicks are loaded, you got weapons tied off to your flicks.
Security element's gonna get off, start pulling security on the road, and then we're just gonna start tossing rocks. We're gonna grab whatever rock we have and get it into the wood line.
We are gonna SP and then arrive at the infiltration point.
Squad leader. That way.
They have 6 to 8 man squads maneuvering in the area. They have a priority to target U.S. forces, so we do have a target on our backs for this operation.
Security of the individual. Search him how? In a quadrant method.
Clear the magazine, lock the bolt to the rear, make sure nothing else is on them, all right? But one person, roll that person over, make sure there's nothing under them. The other person, barrel on, all right?
Underneath the
Go.
body. You can roll the body back on.
I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It seemed like nobody knew what was going on. So you got in the wood line and then you're all clumped together in a little line. When you get off that vehicle, you should be immediately like scanning the area, looking around for enemies. But in this school, like lean forward, right? Like you know you're about to take contact, be prepared to take it.
So you address the detail, the squad attack, dropping the rucks, the withdrawal, all that stuff. Bam, the fact that you probably would get indirect in and around that area of contact.
Clock 300 meters. 300 meters. Go, go, go.
Some of them are really panicking a little bit right now and trying to get all of those details.
Once we close the distance to conduct ambush, we've done all that necessary reconnaissance of the terrain, the analysis of weather. Right? It's not just a general movement now, it's a specific scheme of movement.
As we continue to maneuver around,
we are going to have our next CCP at the security hall.
I told my family, I broke the news to them. It was a challenging experience because, raising one kid by herself. So she supports me all the time. But at the same time, she didn't want me to go. She was tearing up, but she was happy for me at the same time. So it's challenging.
I don't even know how I'm going to write a love letter, but I'll try. Hopefully she writes one back. But yeah, that'll definitely be a new experience for us.
We're still one of the few courses that really do limit communication with the outside world, with friends and family, until successful completion of the course.
My family, thank God every day for it, understands the commitment that it takes. Hopefully 62 days. That's what I need to continue to strive for.
I enlisted in high school, so I was 18 years old, but I got married about a year after that. It's my high school sweetheart. It's just been an amazing experience. She is my number one supporter, my best friend, and just an amazing woman. When I first brought it up to my wife, she knew that it was something that I've been wanting to do for a very long time. I thought to myself that if I wanted to be the best leader that I possibly can as it pertains to infantry tactics, then I need to go to the premier leadership school of the Army in order to do so. I think both of us were just happy that I finally had the opportunity to go.
The Ranger training.
Real quick, what I saw in pretty much all these really hard, really long training courses, you're going to see the number one reason people quit is because they miss their spouses and their kids, and they are not used to dealing with that. So a lot of those people we just talked to probably aren't going to make it realistically.
Training and assessment course pairs soldiers for the rigors of Ranger School itself. We saw a need for the Army National Guard to have a program to prep soldiers going forward to Ranger School. So it prepares them and it shows them what right looks like before they go to Ranger School.
Having completed their recon of the ambush site, it is time to emplace their teams. The leadership is nervous. So far, the patrol has not gone well. But if their ambush is successful, it may be enough to turn the day around. If not, they could be denied entry to Ranger School.
Do something, Ranger. Fire!
Reload those guns.
Whoever it is, right side of the road.
So you're gonna be black. Yep. He's gonna be gold.
Rangers, how do you guys think this patrol went? So we started off like really bad, okay? Like, which way are we going? I show him we're here. I'm like, hey, we're going this way. It's like, okay, this way, roger that. Like, everybody knew we were in the RP, but nobody knew where we were on the map and nobody knew where we were going. When we did the recon, who was on the recon? What did we do? As I was sitting here watching you, like, you just paralleled the road the entire time. You just ran right up and down this whole area. That's the only thing I said you don't have to do. Here's what violence of action is, okay? Everyone's like, oh, I want to see violence, I want to see violence. Here's what violence of action is. It's leaning forward and acting on the objective aggressively. When I hear as the BTL, ceasefire, if I'm the BTL, I hear the squad leader say ceasefire. Ceasefire, ceasefire. Okay, everybody ceasefire. Left side, reload. All right, left side, you reloaded? All right, right side, reload. Right side, all right, right side reloaded. All right, squad leader, I'm ready to push. Can I push? I'm ready to push. Fire without maneuver is a waste of time, and maneuver without fire is suicide. We can't sit here and just keep firing all day. Where are my other 3 249 pouches? Squad leader, I have 810. By 812, I will have those pouches, or we will continue this all night.
Only the top performers will be selected to move forward into Ranger School. The real challenge is about to begin.
Yeah, I'm just ready to go. I've been ready for 5 months now. Honestly, just ready to hit this off.
I really want to be like pushed at that physical limit of no sleep, no food, and I want to see actually how I come out of it and how I show up.
I know it's going to be difficult. It's going to be challenging day by day, but if you look at it day by day again, task by task, and just keep fighting on to the Ranger objective, as they say. Many soldiers have done it in the past, and many soldiers will continue to do it. So I want to be one of those soldiers.
I definitely feel after doing the RTAC program that I definitely feel more prepared. The fact that this is run by the National Guard and has such a high pass rate is very impressive.
I'm not going to take a break until I finish it. I can't, once I start something, I can't quit it. Not until I accomplish what I came to accomplish.
I am nervous. I am questioning all the decisions in my life and thinking like, you know, this is it, I need to perform. So I definitely have all the nerves that you would coming up to some big challenge, but I'm not gonna go home. I'm gonna do what it takes to get it.
All right, next episode must be actual, probably phase 1, Darby phase would be my guess. And I think that's the end. All right, final thoughts. Okay, pretty high production value. I think they did a really good job with this overall. Definitely some things, again, like all the guys wearing masks indoors. So that's a big no-no, right? Like, come on, this is supposed to be a badass leadership school. This isn't 2020. And then, yeah, you know, obviously a lot of things I mentioned before not addressed. You know, standard sounds like, you know, 80 to 90% pass rate. That's incredibly high. That's a little bit, you know, I'm wondering exactly how that's working, because typically these schools have nowhere near the pass rate of that. So again, does that mean that, again, standards are still low and the course is just easy comparatively to the way it used to be? I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see in the future episodes. You know, sorry guys if you don't like but you wanted my honest reaction. You know, there's some things that should have been definitely cut out of that and left out, but overall I think it was really good. Let me know what you guys thought in the comment section for this one. Again, be, you know, respectful. But yeah, interesting to see what the next episode will entail. It looks like that's going to be at the actual Starter Ranger School, but that's going to do it for this one. I'll catch y'all in the next one.